All right, look, we live. We live, all right. All right, so this is the Israelite School of UPK. Started out of 1 West Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. I'm Priest Debar Moth. Today's scripture breakdown class. Um, I'll take questions in the room and online. Let me check this online real quick. All right. So any questions online, any questions that you have whatsoever, you can pose them to the class. Any questions in the room? Go ahead, Among Bar.
Got my counter. Slack, I just want to pull it up real quick. So in Genesis, when the Most High had Genesis, when the Most High had said that he had repented for making man.
Okay, what's your question?
So
what's your question?
So Genesis chapter 6, verse 6.
All right, let's go.
And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart.
What's your question about
it? The battle against atheists, this, that, and the thirds. When they ask if if the Most High is all knowing, a whole lot of kind of rudimentary, I don't want to say accusations necessarily, but things that we would hold true to also. The Most High does know. The Most High does know the future, does know the nature of man. So when they ask about if the Most High, if God, who created the sun, moon, and the stars, how can he repent that he had made man on earth if he knew what was going to happen? And a better way to explain that.
All right, no sweat. That's a good question. Go ahead, Rapayala, you wanted to say something?
To add on his statement, it was said from General Muhammad that he a forgiving God.
What does that have to do with the question? Has nothing to do with the question. The question. I'm gonna repeat the question back so I can understand your question better. Right? Your question is, the way Christians say, God knows all. Right?
Right.
If he knew that men would do evil towards him, you know what I'm saying? Then why would it say he repented that he made men? Right? Which implies what? Who knows? It's a Christian ideology that's spread around the whole earth right now that they say God knows everything, right? So then that would mean this is under the what kind of topic that we about to go into? Free will. Christianity thinks that you have free will, meaning you could do whatever you want to, right? You can live however you want to live. It's your choice, right or wrong. That's what Christianity teaches us, right? That's not biblical. It's not biblical at all. If you look in Deuteronomy chapter, the one that we got the most, that we use as a bedrock script in the UPK, you look at Deuteronomy 28. If you read from verse 1 to 15, it'll tell you all of the things. Just get it. Get Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. The notion of free will comes from the Christian church or the Catholic church, right? Let me do some research on that real quick so I can help y'all out.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Now stop. Let's get a little backdrop though real quick. The free will doctrine comes from, and I'm reading it, the supposed power or capacity of humans to make decisions or perform actions independently of any prior event or state of the universe. John Calvin ascribes free will to all people in the sense that they act voluntarily and not by compulsion. You understand? Now, with that being said, the idea that a man can act voluntarily and not by compulsion means what? That the Lord didn't make men to just be robots. The Lord didn't make men like that. That's not the manner that he made men. The Lord made men a living soul, which means, yeah, you can voluntarily do whatever you want to do, right? But there's consequences to all your actions. There's consequence to everything. So what you have to understand is, yes, you're free to do whatever you want to do, especially in today's time. If you were to be a whore, no man is coming to your door to kill you. If you was a idol worship, there's people that celebrate Christmas every single year, have been doing it for thousands of years. But according to the Bible, that's a death sentence. Nobody's knocking on your door when you fall alive, decking the halls, and all of that. Nobody's pulling you out your house and putting you to death. But also, nobody's charging you for eating pork. Nobody's charging you for doing none of that. You can do what you want to do, right? But there's consequences. I'm sorry, go ahead, Ari. But there's consequences behind it. All right? So the Lord is giving the children of Israel a commandment, right? If you do all of the laws that I showed you this day, then this is what you'll have. You'll have all of the blessings of ruling the planet Earth. After 15, he tells you, if you don't, then here's what's going to happen. So I just want to read it because a lot of people think we have free will. We don't have free will. Either you do what the Lord say do and live, or you don't do what the Lord say do and die. And then I'll break that down after we get the scripture, all right? So let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Verse 1 again.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments.
To do what?
To observe and to do all his commandments.
Here's the point. A lot of people don't want to observe. They don't even understand the law. To observe the law means to what? Who knows? I'm sorry, raise your hand. Observe. I'll take that. I'll take that. Yeah, I'll take that. To get an understanding, or to know them, or to read them. Same way we get a new record comes out. You know what I'm saying? A new album come out. We'll know the whole goddamn album. You know what I'm saying? From top to bottom, but don't know the laws of God. Why? Because we studied it. To observe is to know them. To observe is to study them. So study that just like you study that R. Kelly CD. It ain't an R. Kelly song in here, I'm quite sure. At least everybody in here know one R. Kelly song from A to B. Am I making that up? Somebody in here. Everybody in here, right? We all know one. That's how you should know the law. You should know the law just like that. So to observe them is to know them, is to study them. Go ahead.
To observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day.
And he didn't ask you to do this. This is a commandment. Lord's not asking you to do anything. Go ahead.
That the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
This is how you get rulership of the earth. Now, do you have free will to do it? Sure. But if you do them, then the Lord will set you on high above all nations that are on the earth. there was a time that as a nation, we did all the laws in the sight of the Lord, and he did put us above all nations on the planet. That was in the time of David and Solomon. So by the time Solomon got the kingdom passed down from his father, we had total rulership of all known civilizations on the planet Earth. Period. There was not one that we didn't rule over. They all paid us tribute. They all brought us gold. They all brought us cedar trees. They all brought us ships. They all brought us wild animals. You know what I'm saying? Like gorillas and exotic things like that. They brought us silver. They brought us precious stones. They brought us oils. They brought us spices. They brought us fragrances like frankincense and myrrh. They brought, and I'm talking about all the time. Same way America does it, right? America has a shipping industry where at every single day there's cargo ships coming into these ports, and you pulling up all of these things that are being transported and imported from other countries. Those are tributes to America. I guarantee you, it is. You got millions of cars coming in every day. You see what I'm saying? America has deals with everybody, but they know that they want to be able to send their products over here, because if you give America its tribute, you'll stay in good standing. Or if not, you know what America will do? They'll put an embargo on your country like they did with Cuba. And right now, still in Cuba, right now, they're still driving cars from the 1950s, the 1960s, because America put an embargo on Cuba for not following suit with its order or its rule. So yeah, for sure. You definitely don't have to keep the law. You see what I'm saying? Now, this was written how long ago, y'all? Thousands of years ago, over 4,000, almost 6,000 years ago. This was written to our people, though. You see what I'm saying? To our folk, this was written to us. We weren't the ones who disobeyed this. In your life, you ain't even know nothing about this. You ain't make a covenant with the Lord that said that if he said, I command you to do this, how many of you knew the law? Nobody did. But your ancestors somewhere sinned against the Lord, and so now you got to pay for what your ancestors did in their generation, in this generation. See what I'm saying? That's how the Lord worked with this thing. So your ancestors, right here in this chapter, when Moses is telling this to the people of Israel, they have a choice, right? They have a choice. Either do this or do that. But if you do this, he said he'll put you on high above all nations. Read the next one. Verse 2.
Verse 2. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Yeah, if you should listen to what the voice of the Lord is telling you, then all of these, now I can read all the way down these curses. Anybody want me? These blessings. Anybody want me to read them? Nobody. Everybody understands what the blessings are. So when you see on Facebook, you see a woman talking about I'm blessed and highly favored, and then us as a people are still in captivity in America. We the first fired, the last hired. We can't get no justice. Our sons are dying in the street every single day. Abortion is at an all-time high, 350,000 a year, just with the Judites alone, just with Negroes alone. I ain't talking about the Hispanic tribes or the Native Indian tribes that are also doing abortions at an alarming rate. I'm talking about just with the Negroes in America. Not talking about the West Indians, not talking about South America, just one tribe of Israel, 350,000 abortions every single year. That's crazy, ain't it? That's outlandish. You understand? So if we think we have free choice or free will, which is what his question is really based on, then if this is a result of us having free will, I don't want it. You understand? I don't want the option. Don't give me the wiggle room. And this goes all the way back to the beginning of the Bible, when the Lord said that when that man who we thought was a serpent or a snake, when we know that snakes don't talk, you know what I'm saying? When that serpent came to that man's wife, who we know her as Eve, and told her, you won't surely die. You know what I'm saying? If you eat this, or if you do this, or you learn that. She fell for that. She didn't surely die, but she definitely, her generations had to deal with sin, bringing sin into the earth. You know what I'm saying? Now, we knew what the punishments of God actually were. Before that, we didn't know that. The knowledge of good and evil is talking about that. When you disobey the Lord, now you get to see the evil that the Lord do to you because you disobeyed the Lord. Boom, let's fast track it now. Here. Now we in Deuteronomy, the Lord is saying, if you are to do everything, it's the same thing he said in the garden with Adam. It's the same thing he's saying with the children of Israel today in Deuteronomy. If you do what I told you to do, then I'll make you the number one race on the planet. You rule the planet. If you don't, I'm gonna make you the lowest. You're gonna die. Your children are gonna die. You're gonna have abortions. You're gonna be on drugs. You're never gonna. You're gonna be the first fired, last hired. You're never gonna be able to control any enterprise in your neighborhoods. Now, you got what? Jay-Z. You got. Give me some more billionaires. I'm trying to think about Jay-Z, Dr. Dre, Kanye West, and they really don't even have that money because if Jay-Z and Jay-Z and Dr. Dre do what Kanye West did, you'll see how much money they really actually have. Because once them corporations start pulling away from them and taking the money that they claim they have, then you'll see they really didn't never had no money. The only thing we have is what they give us. But ain't no white man. White men go to jail all the time for give me one. Go ahead. Embezzlement, tax evasion, fraud. Donald Trump is now, he about to go to prison, man. You know that? But he about to go to prison. You can get a Lord a hand clap for that. Donald Trump is about to be fried. He's about to be fried and cooked and booked. You think they're gonna take his money? Of course they're not taking his money. You want to know why? Because his money is his money. Ain't nobody taking his money, but the money that they give a slave, you understand, they could take that at any given time. The notion that we eat, I don't even understand why we killing each other over money that we'll never even really have. Right now, if white America decided to wipe all our bank accounts clean, we don't got nothing. What we got? We don't even have land that we own that we can start the farm on. We don't have nothing. If the white man was to take away everything we have today, we have nothing. Right? I ain't making this up. I ain't making it up. You don't own your house. Who in here own their house? Raise your hand. Okay. Who in here own the land that their house is sitting on? Who in here owns the economy that they building? Who owns it? I can't say I do. How about your vehicle? Do you own your vehicle? Who in here own a vehicle? All right. If this was a room full of white people, all their hands would start going up. All their hands would have went up because they own their stuff. And they own it by generational wealth. They own this because George Washington took this. Right. They own this because Thomas Jefferson took it. Right. Abraham Lincoln had slaves. I don't think y'all knew that. Abraham Lincoln had slaves. You know what I'm saying? All these, the founding fathers of America are the people that these white people that you see walking around today, they all descend from them. So they good. We not though. The Mexicans don't even own the country no more. They forced all the way down to the poorest part of the damn country, to the driest part of the country, to even, you know what I'm saying? They don't have nothing. They coming up into America trying to get their land back. America, they even took America from the Mexicans. Native Indians is putting on concentration camps. He don't have nothing. They running pipelines straight underneath their water. They drinking water. Sis? Yes. They polluting your drinking water. We don't have anything. And I do want to read some of the curses. Actually, I do want to read some of the blessings so you can understand that everything that I'm talking about right now, when I'm done, you'll understand you don't have free will. Could you read from verse 2? Verse 3.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 3.
This is if we do the law.
Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. Meaning we'll run the city and we'll run the country. Meaning we'll own all the agriculture, we'll own all the farms, we'll own all the land that's being farmed on. We you know what I'm saying? We'll own all of the cities, we'll own all the palaces, we'll own all of the buildings, the gold, everything. We'll own it all. We'll be blessed in that. Go ahead. Chapter 28, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 4.
Blessed shalt thou be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy ground.
Stop. The fruit of your body is what? Who knows? Go ahead. Good night. What you just say?
When you have sex and you make a baby.
Okay, yeah. All right. Yeah, the fruit of your body is your children. All right. That was explicit. I'm glad we ain't got no kids in here. Good night. But no, yeah, for sure. The fruit of your body is your children. So your blessed, blessed shall be the fruit of thy body. So your children gonna be blessed. Why? Because you own the land and you own the commerce. You own in the city. What's in the city? Businesses. When you look up and down your streets today, in the black neighborhoods, Hispanic neighborhoods, we don't own those buildings. We don't own those businesses. The biggest corporations in America, like Walgreens, like Walmart, like CVS, name some more for me, y'all. These banks, we definitely don't own the banks. It's banks all the way up and down our streets. We don't even own the churches. You see black churches, you don't own those. White people own that. Go ahead.
All those real estate companies,
The
all
real
them insurance companies.
Oh man, come on. The real estate, insurance, the banks, the supermarkets, the gas stations, we don't own those. The gun stores, we don't own that. Like, I mean, there's nothing that we own here. The football arenas, the basketball arenas, the schools, nothing in the city we own. Nothing. So if you're gonna be blessed in the city, that means you run the city. Just like Black Wall Street. You know, Black Wall Street made America fearful. So you know what they did? They destroyed it by flying planes over and dropping bombs down on our cities. Then they had armed white people going door to door like they do in Iraq today. Ain't nothing changed. They bomb the place first. They run in, kill, rape, and murder and rob, and then annihilate the entire population. That's exactly, they did it first in Black Wall Street. And you want to know who was living in Tulsa, Oklahoma? Blacks and Hispanics.
Right.
I got records to prove. I'll prove it. Blacks, Hispanics were living in Black Wall Street. Go ahead.
And not only Black Wall Street, but it we was prominent in
other cities as well.
Yes.
Yeah, like Harlem and Chicago and Rosewood.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Down south, they buried. They had black sea that was prominent. They underwater right
I know. I posted that the other day. I posted that from Alabama, from Georgia, from Mississippi, all of these cities that you would have never known existed. History in North Carolina, they got it in history. In Portland, Oregon, you should know. In Portland, Oregon, they had black people and Hispanic people living in the floodplains. They made us build 40,000 homes in the floodplains, and then flooded the city. You understand? Like, that's crazy. That's nuts. So no, we're not blessed in the city. We don't own the cities. We're not blessed in the field. We don't own the farms. Remember, after sharecropping, they were supposed to give us ownership of these farms, and we were supposed to be able to work for this man to get the land, to get a piece of the land. They didn't give us nothing. They pushed us off the farms, lynched us, murdered us, and then drove us to the city. That's why the Great Migration happened from sharecropping. The Great Migration happened from Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee. All of these places pushed black people at a mass all the way up north to Chicago, Boston, New York City, all of them northern cities, Milwaukee. You understand? We came up here. Why? Because we didn't have nothing down there, even after slavery. After we built these plantations. You see what I'm saying? They still had us slavery. So, no, we don't run the field either. Go ahead, read.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 4. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
Meaning everything will be blessed. You'll be able to multiply and thrive. White man look at this Bible and say, we can't have these niggas know this. Because if they knew this, they're going to take over the earth. So why you think they pushing pork on you every damn chance they get? You look at an Arby's commercial, they got bacon on everything. You look at you look at a Domino's commercial, Little John's, Papa John's, bacon on everything. You look at a Red Lobster commercial, crab everywhere, shrimp everywhere. Why you think they pushing that on your people? Go ahead.
They know the law. They know the book. You have to break it all the time. Like, put the stuff out there like that.
Exactly.
Changes every day, everything.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Damn right. Damn right. And as long as we sin, we can never overcome anything. They know that. You can go to the book of Judas and the Apocrypha. It'll tell you that it was a king that looked at us and said, I want to go take their country over. He surveyed us from the hills. He said, who is this hill people right there? It was us. And then there was a Moabite that said, hey, look, if they keeping the law, statutes, commandments, if they please their God gonna fight against you like he did the Egyptians. They're gonna utterly destroy you. But if they break just one of these commandments, you'll be able to overtake them. That's facts. All it takes is one crack, and they'll get you. If you got any bit of greed, they'll get you. If you can be bribed, they'll get you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? All it takes is for that. If you will eat pork just a little bit, they'll get you. Because you start eating pork, after a while, your spirit will be like, well, shoot, I'm eating pork and get away with it. Man, maybe I can smoke some weed and get away with it. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe I could, become an alcoholic and get away with it. Maybe I can have sex with his wife, get away with it. Before you know it, they found a way to see through your nation. You understand? All they want is leverage on you. They want to be able to blackmail you. Everybody heard of that, blackmail? They really should call it white mail. You understand? Because that's their tactics. They use those tactics all the time. That's what they did with the Black Panther movement. You understand? Who don't know the history of the Black Panther movement? That's what they did with the GDs. They got Larry Hoover. They gave him guns. They did it to Jeff Fort. You know what I'm saying? They did it to all these people because you were corruptible. If you go look at COINTELPRO, the rules to COINTELPRO states that they want to take the capacity of having a black messiah. I mean, a person that everybody will follow and galvanize to. They want to take that away from you by polluting him and bribing him to make peace with their oppressor. And that's how they did the Black Panthers. They gave the Black Panthers illegal guns, and they was allowed to sell drugs to raise money. That's all they needed now. You understand? They needed give me another organization that fell. Go ahead.
I mean, all of them right now are one gang organization is success right now.
Exactly. Not one gang organization is successful. Yeah, give him a hand. He right. Go ahead.
Just in light of some of the recent activities of New Covenant.
Oh yeah. Polite. Polite. Who knows it? Who here don't know who Polite is? You probably don't know who Polite is. You know who Brother Polite is, sir? That's good. We're gonna keep her far away from Brother Polite. But you'll find out eventually. Being in the UPK, you'll find out. Polite is, I'm sorry, go ahead. Black Lives Matter, created by a bunch of lesbians. And that's being corrupted. Go ahead.
NFAC, the
Not fucking around coalition. They done. Their leader is going to prison for federal charges. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you looking at all these organizations that are able to be overran, and that's because you don't keep the laws. So if they kept the laws and they all galvanated to one, you know what I'm saying, to one place that does teach the law, teach men to keep the law, that's what our oppressors fear. They fear that one day we'll do that. That's what they fear. So they don't want us to be blessed in the field. They get us to mess up one time. We're done. All right. So now go to verse 15. Let the young man take it.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God.
If you will not what?
Hearken.
If you won't hear the voice of the Lord thy God, go ahead.
To observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command
How many?
this day.
How many? To do how many of them?
All of them.
Read it.
Okay. All his commandments. To do all his commandments.
If you don't, so you can't pick and choose, right? You got to do them all. So not the ones you like, and look, man, I'm gonna keep them all, man. But them tithes, I don't want to do that one. I don't want to send the 10% in, man. I'm already back behind my bills. You know what I'm saying? But man, I ain't gonna eat no pork. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna sell no drugs. I ain't gonna do adultery. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna steal. None of that. Just let me keep that 10%. Listen, the Christian church will tell you all the laws are done away with, so you can live however you want to live. But they enforce them tithes. But you got to keep there's one law that God wants you to do, and that's to pay the money. What sense does that make? Make no sense, do it. Because it's trash. You know what I'm saying? It's trash. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. To observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Now, this right here, if you don't know, I want you to go read Deuteronomy 16 all the way to 68. Go read them all. If you read from 16 to 68, you'll see the conditions that black people are in, Native Americans, Hispanics, and West Indians. We're in this curse right now. We're living in it right now. So do we really have free will? Of course not, we don't. You have one or two options. Keep the laws of the Lord, and then you'll run the earth. If you read from 3 all the way to 15, that's the kingdom of heaven right there. That is the kingdom of heaven. From Deuteronomy 28, from 3 all the way down to 14, that's the kingdom of God on earth. But then if you read from 15, 16, all the way down to 68, you'll see that that's you in hell right now. Heaven and hell are conditions that's played out on the planet Earth in today's time. You understand? That's what it is. It's not you die, go to heaven, and play the harp with the Lord all day. This is what you thought you was going to do. No. You die, your body decays, your spirit goes up to the Most High. You sleep for a while after he judge you and tell you what's going to happen to you in your next life. You go to sleep for a while. Then somebody in your family does this. They do the R. Kelly. When we talk about the R. Kelly song, they ain't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind. Guess what happens from when you bumping and grinding? A baby. A baby happens. That moment that baby is conceived, that sperm touches that egg, the Lord send your spirit down into it. And you just a baby being cultivated, and you're growing in somebody's womb, and then you're born back onto the earth with that same spirit that died from that first death. And whatever happened in that past life, whatever judgments you're going to have to deal with, you're going to deal with them when you're born on this earth today. That's how the Lord's judgments work. So guess what? Because our ancestors sinned against God, they died, and then they were reincarnated back on this earth again, and we are them. They thought they didn't have to deal with the curses in the times that they was alive, and they might have it. They might didn't. They probably started seeing the little things start happening, and then they died. And then they wake up today, and they trying to figure out, well, why we on crack? Why we suffer from heroin? Why we dying from fentanyl? Why the police pull us over and killing our sons? Why we can't get no food stamps? Why we don't own the things in our neighborhood? Why every nation hate us? You understand? Why our ancestors had to pick cotton? Why did we go on the transatlantic slave trade? Why they just ain't leave us alone? Why you just ain't keep the laws of God? Because if you would have just kept the laws of God, us keeping the laws today ensures that what did it say here? It says, and we shall be, it says, and blessed shall they be in their cities, and blessed shall the fruit of thy body. The fruit of your body will be blessed if you keep the laws. That's what God was telling them here. Your children will be blessed if you keep the laws. But guess what? Somewhere along the line they didn't. We're their children. And now we got to figure out what the hell we're going to do. I'm looking at my truck. My truck's smoking under the hood. I'm like, God damn, what I'm going to do? White people don't have these problems. The average white family in America got over $60,000 to $100,000 in the bank that they ain't even touching. They work it every day. They ain't doing nothing with that money. Go ahead.
You said truck smoke. White men all get together. Somewhere in my truck, we'll come on the weekend, fix for free. Don't
Right,
mind.
right.
Take us there, barbecue. You got to put a whole new motor in there.
By the end of that day, by the time they done licking their fingers and washing their hands, the truck is done.
Whole motor.
And look, and they ain't touched none of their reserves. Again, all of them families that came together could have put all the money together to get a new car. And guess what? They don't do it. They just all come together, fix each other's stuff, keep that money. Because if they keep that money, they hold on to what? Who knows?
Leverage.
Not just leverage, but now their seed will be blessed. Their seed will be blessed because their kids got to go to college. See what I'm saying? White communities, let me ask you a question. Why do you think there's so many white people in college? White communities might not get along all the time, but one thing they will do is come together, put all that money together to send one child to college. One. So if Dick and Jane, I'm sorry, I had to use Dick and Jane. That was one of my favorite movies from white people. If Dick and Jane, you see what happened on the movie Fun with Dick and Jane? They lost every goddamn thing. At first they was up, then they was down. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, don't. Yeah, but that was Jim Carrey. So Fun with Dick and Jane, I'm gonna use Dick and Jane. Dick and Jane don't got no money. Their kids grow up, go through high school, all of that stuff. It's time for them to go to college. They ain't got enough money. The community gonna come together to send them kids to college. It's just what's gonna happen. How do I know? Well, DeBar, how do you know? I know because my father lives in an uppity white neighborhood. Uppity white neighborhood, upstate New York, somewhere where if they see you, they pulling you over. You could be walking. They what you doing, sir? You lost? You lost? You know where you at? You better know somebody in this community. If you don't, all right, come on with us. We'll take you down to the station and figure it out. Put your hands behind your back. Stop resisting. Hit you over the head with the damn baton. You wake up in the cell. You understand? Like, so this is how they come together. Look at how we are. We thought we had free will. Let me tell you what the free will or the freedom that America is fighting and going to war with other countries for. The freedom to rule over you niggas. That's the freedom. And then you thought that y'all fighting for the same freedom. You go fight in Iraq. You standing side by side with some devil. When I say devil, I'm talking about the so-called oppressor, the white man that the Bible, the devil that the Bible speaks of is the white man, according to the scriptures. You standing next to a devil, you got a gun, he got a gun. Y'all killing one person. In his mind, he's fighting for the freedom to rule America. In your mind, you're fighting for the freedom to rule America too, but it'll never happen. So you'll settle for the freedom to eat what you want, have sex with what you want, do as many drugs as you want, with nobody telling you what you can do. So, you know what I'm saying? Nobody. You want to be gay? Go ahead. That's the freedom that you fight for. And the free will that you think the Bible is giving you, you don't have. You just don't. Because now let's look at history. When you look at history, the people that fought in a Revolutionary War that was white, guess what happened with them? Those were the ones who went on to inherit the United States during the Revolutionary War. But guess who else was fighting in the Revolutionary War? You slaves. Slaves were fighting, and I don't think y'all know this. Slaves was fighting for the Confederate, and they was fighting for the Union. So you had slave Negroes fighting to ensure that white men keep them in slavery. Can you believe that? Then you had Negroes fighting in the white man's Union Army, fighting to against the Confederacy to go into another form of slavery. If you knew what emancipation was about and Juneteenth and all this crap, then you wouldn't even celebrate it. because Abraham Lincoln said out of his own mouth that he is not freeing the slaves when he's doing emancipation to make you equal to white people. He had no intention on doing that. He made you 3/4, 3/5 a man. That's 2 halves that you'll never be. You'll never be equal. So why you think in the amendment it says that you're 3/5 a man? Because Abraham Lincoln had to look at that paper. Hey, you know who signed that, right? Abraham Lincoln, he get all the credit for freeing the slaves, but he signed that amendment that said you be 3/5 a man. Because he was never intended to make you equal with white people. Never so that you can own all the land in white America. Never, because that makes America fearful. You know what I'm saying? That makes white people fearful. So when they say make America great again, what was they talking about? America was great for white people during slavery. That's what they mean, make America great again. Put you niggas back in chains. See, you can't even govern yourself. We would give you Idaho and Oklahoma and Montana and Colorado and then have y'all just live there. But if we do that, it'll be burnt down. That's how they feel. They feel like we can't govern ourselves. You understand that? That's crazy. That's crazy, man. So, no, we don't have free will. We don't have free will. America gives you the license and the freedom to sin against God. And as long as you sin against God, you'll be trying to figure out why we're in hell today. If you go, give me somebody give me a suburb, a rich suburb here in Milwaukee? Name one. New Berlin is one.
New Berlin, Shorewood, Waukesha.
Yeah. Y'all ever drive through that before? Yeah, all the time, huh? We just went to a park the other day. You know what I'm saying? The kids graduated, and we went to that park. Well, that was Germantown, right? Glendale, one of them. You ride through that neighborhood, and you'll see white people are living in heaven, far away from you niggas. You understand? They are living in heaven. You come to inner city Milwaukee, and then you look at the degradation of your neighborhood, and then you know you're in hell. I mean, the demographics will show you. If you take a drive all the way from where we was at, yeah. You take a drive around Glendale neighborhoods, all of their houses got at least 6 bedrooms in them, 2.5 bedrooms, big ass garages. You know what I'm saying? A driveway, a lawn in the front, big ass backyards. Am I making this up, Amon?
Sitting down at least maybe half an acre, quarter acre.
Come on, man. They got land. They got tikis. You know what I'm saying? The things that you try to do. They got the tikis outside. I'm watching this. I'm watching it. And they got tikis everywhere. Mosquito-free environment. I'm talking about like they good to go. And then we took the drive back to Milwaukee. And then you start seeing it. You start seeing more and more churches. Like in them neighborhoods, they only got like 3 churches. 3 or 4 churches. One for the, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I work in Waukesha. They got like 2 liquor stores in the whole big grocery store. Right. We got liquor stores right in the church.
Yeah. Yeah,
they got a 5 one out there.
Yeah, they liquor stores, they either got one in the grocery store and they got one like a liquor depot where they could get all the liquor that they could ever find anywhere in the world in that one store.
And guess what it's called?
Go ahead.
Wine and spirits.
Wine and spirits. Now you know why they call it spirits though, right?
That's what they get into your body. You get drunk into the spirit.
No.
What?
That's not why they call it spirits. Huh? Asmodeus. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. I know now the conspiracies in our mind help make us think, see, the spirits, when you drink it, you get evil spirits on you. No, because the Lord said in the Bible that he made wine and strong drink for men to be glad and how you should drink it. Now, if you abuse it, it will abuse you. But it has nothing to do with the spirits that we think it. The reason why they call it wine and spirits is because the process it takes to distill alcohol, it goes into a mist, or they call it a spirit because it mystifies like a spirit, and then the condensation that drops down, that's what the alcohol is. Has nothing to do with evil spirits. All right? That's why they call it spirits. Nevertheless, So again, you take that drive from, say that place again, Glendale. You start going from Glendale, you see one church. It's probably like a big ass Episcopalian church. They usually Episcopalian. You'll never see an AME Zion, never out there in Glendale. You'll never see it. AME Zion is African Methodist Zionistic Baptist church. So to have an AME Zionist Baptist church, that's like so many different denominations in one. It's like Negroes had to hop from one to one to one. Everybody had to agree on something, so they called the AME. I hate the damn A&E Zion Church. You want to know why? Because they stole all the land. Well, they didn't steal it. My auntie, y'all, okay, everybody know who Harriet Tubman is, right? I'm a direct descendant from that lady. She gave all her land and all her estate over to the AME Zion Church. So right now, my family is fighting against the AME Zion Church for rights to her legacy. Where they do that at? We fighting the Christian church right now for that land that she got up there in Auburn, New York. And it's a hell of a fight. You got people who claiming to be a part of our family. We know who our family is. We ain't never seen these people in our life. The hell these folks come from? We have no clue. But she gave it away to the AME Zion Church. How ignorant was that? Wasn't she not thinking about us? Go ahead. That's what the Holy Ghost do for you.
I got to mention on that. Today you said she knew she was Israelite.
Yeah.
He said I heard some of her family names was Hebrew. Some they had ties to being who they were. They knew who they were.
Yeah.
I saw a documentary.
Yeah, well, I'm a walking documentary. I'll tell you off the rip. That's true. I grew up knowing, and as you a kid, you know, when your parents tell you, oh, you come from a special people. You come from a royal bloodline. That's all I've been hearing my whole entire life. We come from a royal bloodline. You descend from greatness. Why didn't they just say you descend from the Israelites of the Bible? They did. Now they did say, oh, you descend from a royal race. You descend from gods, and you descend from the people of God. But as a kid, I don't know what the hell the people of God is. At this point, I'm just trying to grow up and have fun. I don't know nothing what y'all talking about. But they did tell us, yeah, you descend from King James, who had the Bible transliterated. Yeah, I grew up knowing this. I grew up knowing that King James was a black man and that we descended from that. So, not to make this class about me, on my father's side, we come from King James's, the Stewarts. On my father's mother's side, that's where the Harriet Tubman roots come in. Because my grandmother is the granddaughter of Harriet Tubman's favorite nephew. You see what I'm saying? So that's where we got the entire paper trail that shows you. So here's another fun fact that you would have never thought. Harriet Tubman freed maybe 150 slaves? That's what they got on documents, right? 150 slaves, around about that. Her father freed thousands, probably tens of thousands. He taught her the Underground Railroad. Ben Ross taught her. Ben Ross is Harriet Tubman's father. He taught her the Underground Railroad. She would have never known about it if the white man wasn't trying to kill her. He even kept it from her. It was such a secret that even his daughter didn't know. A lot of people on the plantation didn't know. It was a written language they called the grapevine, an unwritten language, an unspoken language called the grapevine that you even had to know. And then if you really wanted to leave, they'll show you how to get under here. But you had to swear secrecy. You couldn't tell. You know what I'm saying? He saved more slaves than, if we was going to talk about how many slaves Ben Ross saved, Harriet Tubman probably would make 5% of all the slaves that Ben Ross saved. 150 ain't nothing compared to what he did. And I still got those names. My slave name that I was born with, that my mama gave me, still got those names. And Freeman and Ross are still in my name. You see what I'm saying? So I'm trying to make sure that my sons know this. Trying to make sure that their sons know that. But them knowing that is fine. Here's what they should really know: the laws of God. You should know that I'm doing the same thing that my great aunt was doing, that my great grandfather was doing, Ben Ross, except for he was freeing slaves on a physical level. Now I get to free slaves where it really counts, right here, with the help of my brothers and the help of these sisters. Now we get to do it on a different level. Because even those slaves, what did Harriet Tubman say? I would have freed more slaves had they the what?
Right.
Somebody finish it for me. Raise your hand.
They know they were slaves.
Had they known they were slaves. You got niggas living on the plantation, don't feel like they're a slave, even though they got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, start picking cotton for free. not for a payment. They weren't paying, hell, you get paid in prison. At least you get paid 10 cents an hour. Hell, they weren't even paying you 10 cents an hour in slavery. You just got to wake up, do this. And they had kids from the age of 2. I got a 2-year-old girl. Imagine them trying to tell I already know how my mind is today. So you can't tell me my mind wasn't anything different back in the day. You telling my 2-year-old daughter to pick cotton, you got to kill me. I got to die. She got to see a nigga die for her. That's how it's happening. And it was a lot of us that just died. A lot of you sisters just died. I ain't listen. You want me to count 2 million eggs? By when? Sundown? All right, Mr. Master, sir. Sundown come. How many eggs you counted? 12. I got a dozen right here. Yeah, tie Jody up to the tree. What they saying, Django? Tie little Jody up in the tree. We finna whoop little Jody. You see what I'm saying? It was just a lot of us out that just wasn't going. Don't let them push that narrative like it was no revolts. It was no uprisings, because it was. And a lot of us just thought it was better to die than to live the life of a slave. And those are you niggas today. Go ahead.
I heard, I read that something was like, say me strong like you, break it down, just grab your mama or wife, cut her stomach, they're breaking to make you want to do it to save your family.
Yeah, for sure. I'm still not one of them. You could take my wife, hang her upside down, and cut my child out, and you think that's gonna break me? I'll act broken for a second. Yeah, Master, no, Jesus Christ, no, don't do it, Master, please. Like Django, who said that's my favorite movie on this earth. Django, please, Master, don't do that to her, man. Master, she don't need to be in the field, man. Look at her, man. Look at her back. You know what I'm saying? Look, she clean. Look at her hand. You can put it in the house. He pleaded. You can put it in the house. She pretty. They didn't give a damn about that. Jago internalized all of that. They put an R on his face, on his cheek. Put an R on her face. He like, no, come on, man. Look at the face. She pretty. Put it in the house, man. She ain't gonna go nowhere. She ain't gonna run no more. They put it on hers. In his mind, he said, all right, bet. They put that yoke over his face, and you can see in his eyes it was different. Like, I'm gonna get these motherfuckers. I'm gonna get them. And once he got that chance, he did it with no remorse. What he told her? Hey, tell Miss, what's her name? Miss Laura. Say bye, Miss Laura. Bye. Boom. Got her, boy. She was gone. It wasn't none of that in his mind. Like, Bob, oh my God, I just shot Miss Laura. Nah, yeah. That's the type of men that we were. Okay, you're gonna kill my wife. You're gonna cut my baby right out of her stomach. I got you. I'll give you 2 years while I'm planning this. Because the next thing I do to you, it won't even matter. This plantation won't even work no more. You see what I'm saying? Especially a young man, got all his faculties, he got his arms and his legs. He working in the field all day. I'm coming to you. He working to the field all day. He's strong. He run fast. He lift. He can move through the grass. He ain't worried about the mud. Ah, man, that's a deadly nigga. Go ahead.
Another good movie was Birth of a Nation.
Birth of a Nation was good. The problem is the nigga that snitched in the end. You see what I'm saying? Reason why I like Django is because they thought Django was mean, but Django wasn't finna make no partnership with no nigga that's gonna snitch anyway. You scared. He looked in the eyes of the niggas that was in the back of that cage. He looked in their eyes and was like, yeah, these niggas ain't like me. These niggas are scared. You see what I'm saying? The thing about Django is he just wasn't scared. When you told him he was free, ain't nothing else you could tell him. I'm free? You remember when the white dude was like, he was like, no, you're not a slave. You're like, Don't even worry. You can wear what you want to wear. He said, you mean tell me I could dress myself? What? You can dress myself. All right, bet. He can put on the bluest suit. He put on the bluest suit with the tie coming out and the funny little penny loafers. But he dressed how he wanted to dress. That started teaching Django that he was really free. He walked up on that plantation. If he didn't think that here, and when he walked on that plantation, and he was like, who is this nigga on that night? If he didn't think he was free, bro, he would have had that scared look in his face, like them niggas that was running across the field. Big dudes, bro, that Mandingo fight, running across the field. Not Django. That's why I love that movie, because he wins in the end. He's the hero in the end, and it's a love story, and he got his woman back. Go ahead.
I feel like we Django spirit. Prison got that dude spirit telling him.
Give him a hand. Give him a hand. Oh yeah. He loved Calvin. Calvin!
Right.
That nigga like to die when Calvin got smoked. He didn't know what to do.
And then he said, I want to go over there. And some all beat black people, all niggas move. He said, not you, nigga.
Right, not you.
What's the name?
Django, talking about the dude that was
D'Artagnan.
D'Artagnan.
The black dude. Beat. What's his name? Black dude. No.
The one that Samuel L. Jackson played.
Yeah.
Steven, yeah, it was Steven. Yeah, it was Steven. Man, Steven was, that's crazy. But yeah, man. So the notion of us having free will, man, it's something that it's like a fairy tale. Even though you see we don't have free will, we don't have freedom. We still marching because of injustices today. If we really had free will to do what we want to do, then we wouldn't have to be marching. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't have to be highlighting all the injustices and all the racism during the legal processes. These people are writing racist laws every single day and passing them while you on TikTok, looking at TikTok all day. They want you to do that because as long as you're looking at TikTok, as long as you're on YouTube and you do no studying, you know what they don't have to worry about you doing. And then they put it right in your face. If you got cable access channel, you can go to one of them tables and see all of the meetings that they be having in Congress, all of the bills that they be passing. But when you see that, that's not entertainment. No, that's not entertainment. That ain't the Jamie Foxx show. That ain't BET. That ain't We. You know what I'm saying? That ain't damn, give me another one. MTV. Yeah, that ain't Tubi. You know what I'm saying? So you bypass it. I think it's like the C-SPAN channel or some shit like that. Like they show you all the bills that they passing in Congress right in your face. And if you just leave it on for a little bit, you'll start to see the type of ways that those are birds upstairs. You'll start to see all of these racist bills and laws that they making right underneath your nose while you worrying about what's the latest news, y'all? Remy Ma having an affair on what's his name? Papoose. That's what you worried about. You worried about the latest tea. You ain't worrying about the people that caused the Tea Party. They running laws, man. And then you hear about them late. Like what's that? That's that law about them the firearms, them AR pistols. The AR pistols now you can't have a collapsible stock. You can't have a stock at all on an AR pistol. You can't. No, it's illegal. So you can't have like on a regular AR rifle, the stock that comes out that braces, gives you stability to shoot at a range shot. You can't have that on an AR pistol system. Too many people start dying with them, I guess. I mean, I don't know, but they outlawed that. We didn't hear nothing about that until they passed the law. We didn't hear the arguments in the Congress. We didn't hear the arguments on why they should, why they shouldn't before they passed the bill in Congress. We didn't hear that, and they put that as public access. It's on channel. It's on the channel. If you got cable, you can find it. But we don't look at that. We don't look for none of that. We'd rather watch movies. Go to the club. You know what I'm saying? Give me something else. Red Lobster. Go ahead.
All the social media stuff.
Exactly. That's where our mind is at. They got us occupied. They got us asleep. They got us in a state of sleep, man. And they running all type of game on us. We don't got free will. We don't. We have no such thing as free will. So, any more questions? Any more questions? Raise your hands high. Go ahead.
Break down Revelations 10, 8 through 10, 8 through 11.
Yeah.
What is the book?
All right, let's do it. Next week's topic, I've been trying to get to it, but it's gonna. I know I'll be teaching these brothers how to be soldiers all the time. Next week, I'm gonna bring out how women should be in the truth, so we can revisit that. How women should be, how they shouldn't be, their behavior, what they do in the truth. Because women also have, when these women also take oil on their head. When you raise a sister up from being the woman that she was in the world, and then now she coming into the truth, just like with Mary and all the other sisters that used to roll with Christ, they also got anointed. These sisters were who they were at first, and then they became a new person, and then they had a job, a service to do in the work of God. So we'll go over all of that next week. I had a complete breakdown for us. All right. Go ahead.
Bringing in my wife.
Yeah, please bring your wife. She might need to hear this. For a brother, listen, for a brother whose wife, I'm not saying this any of y'all, because I know y'all wives, but for men who come into this truth and their wife don't come in with them, that's a bad sign. It's a bad sign. Because if she don't come in here with you, that means she's telling you she has no intention on changing or trying to become better. Second of all, she's not going to support you. She's going to demand that you support all her bull crap. And if you don't, she's ready to leave you. This is where the Lord, what Christ causes the division at right here. Because everything that she loves, you're going to hate. Everything that you love, she's going to hate. And if it's able for a wedge to be brought in between y'all, Satan is going to be that wedge. He's going to get in your mind and tell you should deal with her this type of way. He's going to get in her mind and tell her what she should do against you. Before you know it, you sleeping with your own enemy. It won't last. It won't last. I've seen it. I've been in the truth too long. I've seen it happen so many times. So many times. So if you want to give your marriage the best opportunity to survive, then we should get in congruency with this book. This book is the blueprint on how you keep your marriage alive.
That's right.
I promise you, my marriage is alive and thriving. And I want everybody's marriage to be alive and thriving. All you got to do, man and woman, fear God, and then your marriage will last. And I'll break it down for you. And then just so you know, there's a way that a man should be. So right after I do the scripture breakdown on how women should be, next week I'm a backdoor with how you brothers should be. Period. So there'll be no misconceptions. And then the week after that, I'm gonna show you what you should do if you have conflict with each other. How you should behave like that. The family structure is the number one thing that's attacked in the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian home. That's why it's that important to do it. I got to do it. You know what I'm saying? Show you the role of a woman, the role of a man, how you stay together, what you should do. You know what I'm saying? When Satan get involved. So if the mother and father don't stay together, that's why we got abortion rate out the roof. You see what I'm saying? That's why the Black man locked up at the tune of over 2.5 million. That's why so many Black men today haven't been raised with their father, and the murder rate is sky high. That's why Black men don't know how to treat or appreciate Black women. That's why Black women don't have no clue on how to be a wife. Have no clue how to be a woman of God. Not at all. It's because the family is done. And then they took God out of the equation. Hell, they never even knew God. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we on. So let's get to this breakdown. I'm just letting y'all know what to expect within the coming weeks, all right? I'm sorry, Revelations chapter 10, 8 through 10.
8 through 11.
10. All right. Oh shit, that's 20. Who got it?
Revelation chapter 10, verse 8. And the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again, and said,
Oh wait.
so did I mishear that? Revelation 10 and 8?
Okay. Revelations 10 and 8 through 11. All right, let's go.
Okay. Revelation chapter 10, verse 8. And the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again, and said, Go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth.
You want to know what the little book is in this context? All right, hold on. Let me see. First of all, let's find this little book. Let's start at verse 1.
Okay. Revelation chapter 10, verse 1. And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire.
Anybody want to know what that's talking about? Anybody think you can guess what that is? Go ahead.
Is that the revelation of Christ?
No, this is about an angel. Go ahead.
Chariot.
Yes. Go ahead. This is just a vision, though. It's not like something literal. This is a vision. Go ahead. Go ahead.
He said, Cherry, I don't understand that.
All right, read it again.
Revelation chapter 10, verse 1. And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud.
Stop. How could you be clothed with a cloud? Can you wear a cloud? You get up in the morning and put a cloud on? Can't do it. So this is obviously a metaphor for something, right? Clouds in the Bible are synonymous with what? Don't do that. Don't blurt out. If you got the answer, raise your hand. He right. Clouds in the Bible are synonymous with, most likely are synonymous. In these contexts, are synonymous with chariots or so-called UFOs or IFOs as we know them here. 1 second. Go ahead.
You ever seen that movie? Nope.
Yep.
Like that?
Yeah. Kind of like that, yeah. That's how they use, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like that, but that's where they got that reference from. Really, we just didn't have a word for a chariot and what it does and how it moves. And clouds appear like they don't move, you know what I'm saying? But they're definitely up there, and they definitely usually have a common shape like this. You understand? It usually would have a common shape like that. So, you know what I'm saying? It was just the closest thing that we could use in our language to say what we were depicting. So, just like when it says, and we saw when Christ was taken up, right? Christ died. He came back after 3 days, walked with the prophets, taught them even more. And then he left again. He went to this mountain where everybody was at. Everybody saw him. They saw a cloud. It says, and a cloud came over him. And then he was ascended. When he ascended up, that cloud would have been what we call today a UFO. That's just the word we use for it, either a chariot or a cloud. Go ahead.
So where it says as his feet as a pillar of fire, would that be like?
We finna get to it. Go ahead.
That's all I wanted to know. How was it a cherry?
Yeah, so when it says clothed in a cloud, right? It says clothed with a cloud, I'm sorry. Meaning this is what he was in. He's inside of it. Just like you're inside your clothes. You know what I'm saying? He's inside of this cloud. All right. Go ahead.
And the rainbow was upon his head.
Now, the rainbow, go ahead. You want, because I know you've been raising hand. What's that rainbow on his head? Right? Everybody want to know what that rainbow above his head is, right? Go ahead. The dome of it? No.
No, because it's metaphorical.
Go ahead. For what?
So like it's metaphorically for I don't know what.
Okay. Anybody else want to give it a try?
I'm trying. I said no. You said it loud.
You want to try, sis? I'm sorry? A halo? Like that? No, no. Remember, we're describing a vehicle now. It said that the angel was inside it came with the cloud, closed with the cloud. So this is an angel inside of a vehicle. Now it says the rainbow was, and a rainbow was upon his head. Hold on one second. I know you might know because your office is 1,000. But let's let the young man get it. Give him a hand. Give him a hand. A lot of lights, different color lights flickering, right? Go ahead.
And a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun.
Meaning what? It's now, you should know now. I want to come to you, but I want to get to these younger men because I know you probably heard this breakdown before. Go ahead.
Bright light.
Yeah, it's glowing. You see, today in today's media, a lot of these spacecraft that you see are U.S. government property, but then some of them you see are bright. Like there was this one where it's like this STS mission where this 5-mile long tether was floating in the sky, right? It's floating in space, and then as a swarm comes in with millions of chariots, just swarming by it. Now, this one tether is floating in the space like this, right? Let's say this is the tether. I'm trying to find something that's synonymous to what it was. Now, think about this is the tether floating in space. It's just floating. See if the people can see. It's floating in space. And then certain chariots were going zoom, zoom. Some of them is going still across the joint like this, right? And they're doing intelligent maneuvers, right? So they're going like this. And get up out of there. Some of them is going like this. And one of them comes right up to it. Like it came in fast, slowed down. When it got like right here, it went around it like this. Examined the joint. But when it did it, the UFO, the part of the UFO that you can see, was super bright and pulsated. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could show y'all. Let's see if I can show y'all this. Can I get the remote? See if I can show y'all this joint. You got to move that stuff that's obstructing. Yeah. Yep, this one right here is going, then you can see the difference between the white man technology and the technology that they're afraid of. They definitely afraid of something, which is why they got a spaceship, a space force. Go ahead.
And it's a new government too, as you already know about. It's a new form of government called a new branch of military called the Space Force or something. I forgot the name. What's that name?
Are you talking about the space force we talking about, right?
Yeah, but what's that name?
I don't remember.
Is it called Space Force?
SpaceX.
I don't know. Just look it up. Everybody got all these smartphones in here. Let's look it up. Hopefully it'll load. All right, boom, here it is. All right, y'all, check this out. Turn it up.
This television view now is of the mid-deck glove box experiment with ongoing operations there by Pilot Commander Franklin Chang Diaz on the lower deck of.
Check it out.
This is Mission Control, Houston again. Columbia, the satellite making its closest approach at this point.
That's for those who say that the Earth is flat. Stupidity. It's the stupidest trash I ever heard. Go ahead.
They reported first seeing the satellite when it was about 100 satellite.
There it is. That's the tether.
Again,
they're gonna say how long it is. Listen. See all those things swimming in there?
81 nautical miles now from Columbia.
For the long line, it's a tether, and there's a little bit of debris that kind of flies with us, and it's illuminated by the sun at such low angle. There's a lot of
the sun don't illuminate things like that.
It's getting washed out quickly, but that's why I'm trying to do.
They call it debris, but debris don't move like that. See that?
100 nautical miles.
You completely unzoomed, and you're putting a center of the tether. Under the body bag, and it only just disappeared in the glare of the sun about 30 seconds ago.
So they said the tether was 100 nautical miles away from them. Nautical means like under the sea type miles. They call it nautical miles in space. They call it nautical miles under the ocean. So in space, they call it nautical miles, right? That's what it looked like. It looked like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, go ahead.
What is a tether?
A tether is like this cord that's hooked up to this main laptop. It's a tether in between the power source. The power source is here, and the cord is a tether, right? The tether snapped in space, and they know that this tether is super duper long. If this tether was to somehow find itself back in Earth's atmosphere, it's going to land on somebody's city, head, something. But they're looking for this debris. They're looking for the tether. They found it. That's it. It looked like a line. It looked like a straight line. But if you was to get up close to it, because I seen the video where they zoomed all the way into it, and then you can see it look like a telephone. Like, remember them old telephone cords, the stretchy ones? It looked like that. It was like the tether was coiled up like that, so long, but it was like that. From right here where you looking at it, it looked like a straight, like a pin or something, or a nail. But that's not how it looked when they got closer up. Hold on, officer IR.
Are you trying to say that's a cord or is it a chariot?
You see that long thing right there that looked like a pin? That's the cord. The things that were swimming around it, those were the chariots. How about this? Let's just go to this video. Let's go to it, but some of these videos will show you more. That was just like a clip of it. Look at the intelligence of these joints. Look at them. They got their own mind. How fast they got to be. Space debris don't have intelligence like that. Then they zooming in on them. Blew their mind. Look at this. One second, I'm gonna come to you.
We see a long line, couple of starlight things, and a lot of things.
See how them joints? How that joint had went across it like that? I saw a breakdown on this video. where somebody from NASA said that look at how that joint swimming up behind that joint like that. Look at that one. And then they turn it, all that, man, crazy. I've been looking for that breakdown video where this dude from NASA broke down exactly what was happening. And then that one just staying still. You see that one at the top? That one just staying still. That one staying still. That one staying still. That one staying still. This the one that's gonna swim. Look at that. NASA can't explain this. They see this kind of stuff and they say, yeah, we definitely need a space force. It's space military. That's about it. Now look, I saw a breakdown of that video. There was a breakdown of that video, and the dude had a chalkboard. He was breaking it down. This happened in the 90s. It's like 1997 or something like that. 1994 to 1997. It didn't happen in today's, like, our futuristic, you know what I'm saying? Brother, he broke it down. He drew the tether on the board. And then, right, he explained how long it was and how wide it was. He said it was about a mile across and it was about 5 miles long. A mile across, 5 miles long. From where we were seeing it from, they was observing it from a space shuttle that was 100 nautical miles away. And they zoomed in on it. So you seeing it from an angle that's 100 miles away in orbit or outer space. The things that he said, the things that were flying around it, and he pinpointed the one. It shows the video. He said that one in that video, and he drew it on the thing. He said the one that came the closest and did like this. He said that had to be 5 miles in diameter. It wasn't small. In comparison to what he knew, he used that like we know how dimes are. You compare things in the size of a dime, because you know how that tether, he knew the size and diameter and the shape of that joint. He said the thing that pulled up to it, in reference to it, how it moved around it like that and was close to it. He even highlighted the fact that you could see the light. It was so close that you could see the light flickering off of the tether. That's how close it was. Yeah, he said that joint had to be 5 miles in diameter, moving like that. Go ahead.
What does tether do? What is it? Salapia, might be saying it wrong, but what's the point of a tether?
That tether was used to keep, like, just think about, I'll give you this idea. The spaceship, astronaut goes out, right? He has something attached to him so that he don't drift away, right? That thing, that line that's attached to him keeps him tethered to the actual spacecraft, right? So that he don't get blown all the way off course and now he's all the way out of space. You can't find him, right? So it's like a line. It's like a lifeline. It's kind of like you throw you in the sea and you throw a lifeline out, right? The life loop, right? And it has that line to it so that when the person grabs the life joint, the life, what they call them, man? They don't even use them no more. It's like the circle joint, the life tube, and throw it out there with a line attached to it. Once you get inside of it and you put your arms around it, that rope is the tether that brings you back. You see what I'm saying? So this tether that they were using was snapped off of 2 different spacecraft that they had out there. And it was keeping them together so that they don't float away from each other. Go ahead.
So it's the same thing that go way underwater.
Yes.
They have to go back in.
Yeah. Yep. That's the tether.
So 2 spacecraft was joined together.
Yeah.
What was the spacecraft?
It was something that NASA sent up, like them space satellites.
I thought
It was go ahead. Yeah, like, and so when it happened, I guess them chariots they wanted to swarm that joint, swarm it and see what the hell it was. You know what I'm saying? And they did. Go ahead.
The tether wasn't us.
No,
Yeah, that's what
the tether wasn't us. What do you mean?
That wasn't my private us. Like that wasn't our chariots. That left line that we get from that.
Nah,
That man.
the tether was the cord that broke off from whatever it was keeping together in outer space that men made.
Right. Yeah. Not ours.
And then when it floated out of space, the angels went to go investigate it in a swarm. And they got close up to it and all that. Those beings that was inside of those chariots that was 5 miles in diameter, the white man ain't know what the hell that was. You understand? They had no clue. And when they saw it, you know what they did? They got afraid because they know they don't got this technology. Somebody is above them. That's why when the scriptures say that he put his nest in the stars so that he can become as the Most High, they saw something that was higher and intelligent than them. And so now they got to come with a space force. Now, you know what I'm saying? Now they making all of it. Now, don't get it twisted. These devils got U.S. property, United States property, military property, where they mimicking these things, where they can move and do things at crazy speeds for different propulsion systems. But these things right here can go from a solid to something that ain't there no more and then reappear. These are spiritual beings. You know what I'm saying? Like inside of the vehicles that they're using are spiritual, and inside of them is spiritual angels. You see what I'm saying? So the way they controlling these ships is different now. But when we get to the part where it's talking about and his face was it, whereas if it were the sun, you understand? That's what it's talking about. His pillars were as his feet was as pillars of fire. It's the same thing when you go back to Moses. When what guided us out of Egypt was those same things. You understand? And at night it looked like pillars of fire that was guiding us out of there. See what I'm saying? So, but again, this is a vision. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead to verse 2 is what we want. Verse 2 is what we really want. Verse 2. Anybody gonna read verse 2?
Revelation chapter 10, verse 2. And he had in his hand a little book open.
He had what?
In his hand, a little book open.
Go ahead.
And he set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot on the earth.
Go ahead.
Verse 3. And cried with a loud voice, as when a lion roared. And when he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voice. It's like they uttered their voices. Verse 4. And when the 7 thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the 7 thunders uttered, and write them not. Verse 5. And the angel which I saw stood upon the sea and upon the earth, lifted up his head. It's like he lifted up his hand to heaven. Verse 6. And swear by him that liveth forever and ever, who created heaven, and the things that therein are, and the earth, and the things that therein are, and the sea, and the things which are therein are, it's like, and the things which are therein, that there should be time no longer.
Go ahead.
Verse 7. But the days of the voice of the 7th angel, when he shall begin, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should be finished. And he had declared to his servants the prophets.
There you go. So, in this little book, we're going to pinpoint what this little book was. This little book that he had in his hand, of course, the prophet was told to write it down. But to seal it up and don't write it down, right? then when you get to verse 7, it said in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, which is how you know that the seven thunders were seven angels, right? It says that now, where we at? When it should be the mysteries of God should be finished. Those mysteries are what we already been beheld already. Now they're finished, and he declared to his servants the prophets. Right now, read verse 8.
Verse 8. And the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again and said, Go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 9. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book. And he said unto me, Take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey.
Now, there's a precept for this in the Old Testament, and if you knew what the precept was, then you'll understand what. I don't want to give it to you, but somebody here got to know. Find the precept, and then I'll break that precept down. But go ahead.
Verse 10. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand.
No, reverse 11. Go ahead. Got to find a precept first, because you about to just start guessing. Go ahead.
Because I'm almost 75 or 85% sure I know what it was.
Okay, go ahead. What is it? No sweat. Keep reading. Keep reading, please.
I was trying to for precept too, so I can get back to it. Revelation chapter 10, verse 10. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up. And it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. Verse 11. And he said unto me, Thou must prophesy again before many peoples, and nations, and tongues, and kings.
Okay. Now, let me get this precept for you, but I want to see who can break this down. Where we at? All right, now read it again from the top. I'll break it down while I'm still trying to get this, Break it down from the top, please.
Revelation 10, verse 1. And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven.
Not verse 1. Read from verse 8.
Verse 8 Revelation chapter 10, verse 8. And the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again and said, Go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth.
And this is a vision that you're looking at. Of course, none of this is literal, but all these things are synonymous for a reason. Now, it says that this angel that I heard from the angel spake again, and he had that little book. He standing upon the sea and upon the earth. This is talking about, if I can remember correctly, the sea is talking about. You know what? Let me refresh myself on that. What the sea is, and what the earth is. Go ahead, read verse 9.
Verse 9. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book.
Mm-hmm.
And he said unto me, Take it and eat it up. And it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey.
Now, damn, I wish I could find this precept. But basically, I'll break it down for you. Go ahead.
I think I know. So I'm sure.
If you can find it, grab it.
17.
Fine. Let's go. Let's see.
I got it right here. I don't know. I think it's it.
Let me see. Do-
Might not.
Mm-mm. It's not. Tell you what, I'll get this. I'll get the entire breakdown tonight. I'll give Captain Marquardt a call so I can refresh. But in essence, what this is talking about is the truth. Giving the truth. You know what I'm saying? Read it from where you was just at.
Verse 9.
Take it where it says take it.
That will come. Take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey.
Eat the roll. Let me see if I can find that. Eat that roll. Eat this roll. I believe that's the precept. Go ahead.
Meaning what? Eat the roll, meaning what?
Well, that's the breakdown I got to give you as well.
It's like, so
Ezekiel.
you said what you was looking for earlier would be Ezekiel 3:3.
That's what I'm looking at now.
It's like so 3:1.
It'll start from 3 and 1 year. Let me just be refreshing on this breakdown, and then I had an answer for you next week. I don't want to teach a breakdown I can damn near barely remember, but I'm quite sure. Now I'm almost 80% sure. You know what I'm saying? But let me just get refreshed on it, all right? And then I'll break it down. I'll break it down next week. What time is it? 8:30. We'll go over time. Go ahead.
Well, if you got time, you can break down how I'm some weird sex and marriage, but I don't want to break it down.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's easy. Go to Genesis. Was it chapter 2 or chapter 3 when Adam and Eve got together? Chapter 2 and verse 21. Let's go there.
Oh God, this is Genesis chapter 2, verse 21. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam,
Mm-hmm.
and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof.
You just drop down to 24.
Oh God, verse 24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh.
What is it when how is a man and a woman become one flesh? I know you know. You're a married woman. IR. How does a man and a woman become one flesh?
Sex.
How? Explain it to me.
sex.
Explain it to me. Yes. Explain sex. Yes. How does a man and a woman become one flesh? You got at that time they one flesh. This is what this is talking about. Becoming one flesh. It ain't talking about no spirit, nothing spiritual right here. It's just talking about them becoming one flesh. When a woman and a man have intercourse, at that moment, they're one flesh. His body is in her body is with him. That's one flesh. This is the act of having sex. I know it sounds like it's not, but if we keep reading, go ahead.
Verse 25. And they were both naked.
They were what?
Both naked.
Well, can't have sex with clothes on. Sis? Can you have sex with clothes on? Yeah, you got to be naked. Go ahead.
So what if they was talking about something spiritual? You know what I'm saying? It was spiritually naked.
Well, I mean, you got to become one flesh. It didn't say this was spiritual. This is actually happening. Everybody knows that in order to become one flesh with a woman, that you have to have sex with her. And you can't do it with clothes on. But the next part will let you know how it's not a spiritual thing. Right? Read.
Verse 25. And they were both naked. The man and his wife.
And the what and his what?
The man and his wife.
Uh-huh.
And were not ashamed.
And we're not what?
Ashamed.
When is it that when you're ever naked that you're not ashamed? Somebody raise their hand, let me know. Without the sister saying it. Just keep the sister dignified. Any man in here know? When are you ever naked, but you're not ashamed? I know you know, young man. I mean, I do it all the time. I mean, I do it all the time with my wife. You know what I'm saying? And when I'm naked with my wife and my wife is naked with me, we become one flesh. You understand? And we are not ashamed of each other's nakedness. But if for some reason the walls of my house were to fall down while I'm naked and me and my wife are doing this thing, we're going to cover up. Why? Why is that? Who knows? Go ahead. Because we would be ashamed of what, though? Yeah, for sure. But you want to say it in a different way?
Because I mean, that's not for everybody else's eyes.
Yeah, well, for sure. That's true. ZQ, you had your hands up?
It was in the realm of what the money bro.
I know. Go ahead.
Other people seeing you.
Yeah, but yeah, y'all are all right. But I just want to try to see if you're gonna say it exactly how it was.
In a very vulnerable state.
Yeah, you're vulnerable. but go ahead.
It's sacred.
It is sacred. But I don't want nobody seeing my wife naked. My wife don't want nobody seeing me naked. And they definitely don't want to see us in the act of something where we are both vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? But the reason why we're not ashamed is because okay, why would I leave my father and my mother and cleave to my wife in this way? Okay?
You know, to start a family and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Have some of y'all on, you and your wife.
It's just talking about the act of sex.
You know what? Maybe so y'all can.
What makes a man leave his father and his mother when he ready to do what?
When he ready
to get some tail. He ready to get some tail. He don't want to listen to none his father saying. He don't want to listen to nothing mama talking about. He want tail. He can smell it in the air. A pretty woman can walk behind him. He smelt her. Hey, yeah. You understand? What makes the woman leave her father and her mother and want a man? Sex. This is what's happening. she knows every night, or he knows every night, if their mother and father is like me and my wife. You understand? You're gonna have TVs on in the house. You have to have doors closed. Kids need to be asleep, because maybe you might hear something that might, it might stir some curiosity in your brain. You understand? When I was a kid, I heard it. Anybody ever heard their parents doing something? Anybody? No, it's just me. You heard it before? You heard it? Nobody? You heard it? You heard it? You didn't get to hear it. He was asleep. He was a good kid. We was the kind of kids that still stayed up when we shouldn't have been up. Yeah, you ain't never heard it? How about you, y'all? You heard it? Y'all some great kids. The Lord spared y'all. The Lord spared y'all from hearing this. And you hear your mama talking about, Daddy. You hear your daddy go, I heard it. Well, for that cause, shall a man leave his mother and his father and cleave to his woman, because he want to do this. And for that cause, shall a woman leave from her father and her mother because she want to say daddy. I mean, we adults here who don't know. Go ahead.
I know. It's like in that verse, he said he wanted his wife. Means,
Well, at first it called the woman.
he did it.
And 23, read verse 23.
Come. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man.
Now, before verse 25, she was just called woman. Right or wrong? Why is it that in verse 25, now it says the man and his wife? Because in 24, guess what they just did? What did they do in 24?
It's like, so they meditate.
Right. Yeah, they showed meditated. Yeah. What did they do? They had sex. They became one flesh in 24, right? In 23, she was called woman. In 24, they cleaved into each other and they became one flesh, right? The thing that makes you leave your father and your mother. My wife don't care what her father or her mother got to say. It's about what I got to say.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
And I don't care how my father or my mother feel. It's about my wife. It ain't about what y'all feel. It's about me and my woman. What made us come that close together? What made us get that bond? What made us do that? The act of having sex is what did that. That's what put us on the same plane. Now, my soul and her soul are intertwined because of the act that we just did. You understand? And everybody know I ain't lying. I mean, back in the day, when a young woman had sex with a man, he would marry her, he would honor her, but she ain't listen to what her mama and them got to say no more. She could have been 16, he could have been 17. She snuck out and got it in the back of an ice cream truck. She gonna go home, her mama gonna say, girl, you ain't leaving no more. All right, mama. Sneak out the window the next night. What's making her sneak out the window? Is it to hold hands? She sneak out why did you sneak out the house? For a spiritual connection? Go ahead.
Man, it's like you said. I waited till my mom and dad went to sleep 2 o'clock in the morning. Went right over that chick house right across the street.
There you go. Why did you sneak out? You went to go read Bible verses with her?
Wow.
This is what you went to go do?
Not at 2 o'clock in the morning.
How about eat Sundays? Did y'all eat Sundays?
No.
Yeah, I know. Something else was on the menu. It wasn't no Sundays. And why would she even risk it? Her parents was home too, right?
I don't know.
Probably he didn't care. She cared though. But why would you risk it? You ain't risking it just to go be a spiritual bond with a woman. To cleave to her means that you don't care about nothing your mama and your daddy saying. You're going to leave that house and go do what you got to do, and vice versa. Know what they was going to go do? They wasn't going to go dance and nothing like that. They weren't going none of that. They wasn't going to go do nothing but have sex.
Right.
All right?
Right.
And this is what Joseph and Mary did to have Christ. Yeah, they snuck and had sex before they came together. Before the people could see that they came together in marriage. It was already engaged. It was fiance, but they wasn't supposed to have sex until the ceremony. That was Israelite culture. Supposed to have sex when the ceremony, the height of the ceremony, they leave, go to their chambers, get it in, come back. Everybody see that they came together, man and wife. Why? Because now he shows the token of marriage, a bloody piece of rag where they had sex at. He cut that out of the bed. Here's his token of marriage. She bled. That's what made them come together. Do you understand? So what made them man and wife was sex. It wasn't the wedding. It wasn't a piece of paper. It was that bloody rag that was on that was on the bed that they cut because he had just knocked that thing down. And you know what happens when you have sex with a woman who never had sex before, right? Everybody know? Sisters, y'all know for sure. You bleed. That's what happens to her. She bleeds. It's a bloody mess. Well, that bloody mess was taken as a token of the fact that they just had sex. Then they go back to the wedding after they cleaned themselves. You understand? You don't just go back to the wedding. Y'all both got bloody legs. That's not what you do. Then you would get in the shower, bathe yourselves, put back on your garments. You are unclean until the next day, but you go back. Well, no, both of y'all unclean for a week. Y'all both are literally unclean. This man can't go do no work of the Lord. He can't go to no high holy days. Can't go to no more convocations. Neither can she. She's unclean. She's bleeding. That's that. So you unclean for 7 days, but you go back to the wedding, and then this man goes to the father in front of everybody that came to see them, came to their wedding party or ceremony. Now he pulls out that piece of that token, which is called the token of marriage. He pulls it out, shows the father pulls it out. He gives here's how it was. You take that joint, the UPK, we about to start doing this joint too. You take the whatever you cut out, the token, put it inside of a bag, close it up. You go out there after you wash yourselves, you back clean. You go out there, you go to the father in front of everybody. Everybody's seeing it. He hands the father the token of marriage. The father addresses the people, opens it up, pulls out the token of marriage. If it's not white, that means that it's red, really meaning it was bloody. He shows the fact that they had sex. That blood. That's now, from there on, everybody knows that they're husband and wife. Not a ring, not a piece of paper, none of that. The fact that they had sex, everybody knows that they're husband and wife. He puts it back in, closes it up, keeps it as his token, and then the bride and the bridegroom, the man keeps the woman as his part of the token, because now the deal is sealed. Sex is marriage. You understand? Now, if he would have pulled that joint out and it would have been white, they would have stoned that girl to death. They were stoned her to death. Why? Who knows? Speak up louder, please. Because she's been with somebody else. She got to die. Shame on her. Shame on the father. Shame on the entire community that we have a whore living amongst us that had sex already, knowing that she had sex already. It's still, she could have turned it down. She could have said, Dad, I don't want to marry nobody. She could at least put a fight up. She didn't do it. She went all the way through the motions, all that money for the ceremony, all that money for the dowry. This man paid a dowry to your father. They got an agreement based on money. Hey, he said, man, my daughter is worth, I need 25% in your company You know what I'm saying? All oil companies. Let me get 25% in that. Then let me get 10,000 shekels. My daughter knows how to be a wife. She ain't finna be no disrespect. She ain't about to be no disrespect, no dishonor to you. She gonna bring everything to you. I taught her how to build businesses. I taught her how to, you know what I'm saying? All of that. So she good to go. And she beautiful. Look at her. Well, then the man says, okay, no sweat. How long I got to work for you, or how much I got to pay? See, Jacob worked 7 years for both of his wives from Laban. Couldn't marry him until he worked it off. That was the dowry. After them 7 years of service was done, then he was able to marry. That's a dowry. You understand? Anybody, just so y'all know, y'all out there listening, when my daughters become of age and they ready to court, and I say that they can court, there's a dowry for you to court her. You know what I'm saying? Because you might say, man, I'm cool. I don't even want to. Well, $5,000 to court her. You don't want to pay that $5,000, you ain't serious enough. You see what I'm saying? You ain't serious enough. Now, you know what that does for the man? That makes the man put his money where his mouth is at. That makes the man put the money where, and he takes it serious where he put his money at, don't it? Now, here's the rules to this courtship. You better obey him. You know what I'm saying? Now, he obeys them. They can court or whatever. Now, come to marry. There's another dowry for the marriage. We got to come and agree. We're agreeing on this. Because listen, I'm raising up the best women you can ever find. So shoot, you don't have to. You don't have to pay it. But that's the deal between me and this man who wants to marry my daughter. Take it or leave it. You're gonna look at that as I invested in this woman. I'm going to take my time. I'm gonna be careful with her. And when it's done, I know that this woman is worth everything that I put into her, and she's not worthless. How many men have sex with women right now? Worthless sex. Worthless sex. That's why the black household is done. It's done. Because this woman is worthless to you. You have sex, you pay her to go away. Go ahead.
A lot of cultures do that though. Pay the father for the bride or something.
Yeah, well, it's just the woman, until you marry that woman belongs to that father. He knew her since she was a baby, all the way up until he raised her to be a woman of marriageable age. And he knows her do's, her don'ts, her wills, her wants, her strengths, her weaknesses. He spent all of his money and resources to raise her up. That's his property. You understand? If you take a man's daughter and just go have sex with her, you know he feels like you took something from him. You robbed him of what? You robbed him of his right to give her away to you. Some people die about that. I'm one of them people that will make you hurt about taking something from mine, especially one of my daughters. You take one of my daughters from me, you got to hurt. And y'all can stay married. I just keep your arm. You know what I'm saying? And there we go. We even. I keep your arm. I put it in a trophy. The nigga who first thought he would take one of my daughters, that's his arm right there. It's going to be in my living room. You understand? Lord be with you. So the next man want to come marry another one of my daughters. I'm going to say, you see that arm on the wall? That's the man. That's her husband. You see her? Yeah, that's her husband. Hey, tell brother, come outside. He coming out there with one arm with the DJ Paul.
How you gonna take care of him?
How you gonna take care of him? You mean how she gonna take care of him?
No, she's got to provide. She got to take care of her. Right?
What?
I'm saying how you gonna provide for her to take one of
Well, I mean, what you want me to tell you? He should have thought about that before he did what he did. Come take something from me. Gotta take something from you. You took something from me that I didn't want you to take from me. I'm gonna take something from you. You don't want me to take from you. I'm just playing y'all out there, but maybe I'm not. You know what I'm saying? But in reality, a woman is really supposed to be the one to provide monetarily. Biblically, that's what that's about. See what I'm saying? I'm not saying that men in the UPK don't have careers and jobs, because we got doctors and lawyers all throughout the school, rocket scientists, physicists. I'm telling you straight up, this is not a game. You know what I'm saying? But in a perfect world, if you go to Proverbs chapter 31, you'll find that this woman, she takes care of the house. She builds the businesses. She takes care of the kids. And you want to know where her husband is? Her husband is in the streets with the elders, teaching, serving the people, protecting the people. That's what he's doing. You know, the Native American Indians, that's another reason why the white man killed them, because he used to look at how the women would do all the work, and then at night all he would hear was sex cries from the tents for the Native American Indians. He watching this every night. He come home. I mean, he watching all the Indians come home, the male Indians come home, going to teepee, slapping cheeks, clapping them. Don't let your kids watch this class. Clapping them. Damn. Then they get up, they get on their horse in the morning, and they gone all the day. He watching all the women do all the work. They washing the clothes. You know what I'm saying? They feeding the kids. They mining the cornfields, all of that. See what I'm saying? He looking like, wait, why is this happening like this? Because in England, we don't get it like that. You got to have, you know what I'm saying, a mansion and some money and come from royalty to get a woman. But this man got multiple women. I seen him going from that tent, then he went to that tent, then he went to this tent. Damn, he a tent hopper. They hated that. Oh, they hated that. But then they learned a valuable lesson. Once you try to come and disrespect or take what's theirs, all of the men that was getting all that tail all night, now that's the last thing you see before your eyes close and you lose your life. You understand? That's Hebraic culture. That's the Israelite culture. Facts. We finna come take that man, woman, and children. And the men were warriors. They went out, they hunted all day, come back with game. They come back with stuff that the people needed. You see what I'm saying? And they also went to war against other tribes that wanted to come and take theirs and absolve them into their tribe. And they've got to protect ours. So, I mean, that's how it was. White man was jealous about that. So then he gave you monogamy and the Justinian law, which means a man can only have one wife. Took your whole entire enterprise from you. You want to know why? Because black business should start with family first. A man that got multiple wives, I'm not saying everybody got to have multiple wives, but I usually say this to make sisters not want to come in here. I know y'all want the sisters to come in here, but once I say this, they probably not. A man can have multiple wives, and that's his enterprise. Him being the owner, and then his wives being the ones that operate all of these businesses. He is incorporated. His whole entire house is incorporated. And if you did that, if a man had 6 wives and all of these wives were PhDs and medical doctors and all of that, they make them like $300,000 a year, all of them. And guess what? You don't have to worry about no more poverty. Your kids can go to school. You can have $100,000 in the bank every day. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to worry about food stamps. You ain't got to worry about asking nobody for nothing. You ain't got to worry about going to get no job. You ain't got to worry about none of that. And you can create businesses that your brother can come and work for. Your sisters can come and work for. You think white people want you to be able to do that? Oh, hell no. And their biggest lieutenant is black women who don't understand. Black women don't understand that because they taught our sisters now how to hate that and be selfish. Not knowing that the biggest way to be selfish is to let your man have multiple wives. That's the biggest way to be selfish. Because if you are the one who take instructions from him and all his other wives do too, before you know it, you don't have to worry about no cars. You ain't got to worry about none of all the things, the trivial things that women worry about, you don't even have to worry about no more. You don't have to struggle to get no more. Because all of those households multiplied means that, you know that hair you wanted to buy? Nothing to you. You know that car you wanted to buy? Nothing to you. You wanted a new house with the master bedroom and all that? Nothing to you. You wanted this dress? Nothing to you. Because why? She don't have to worry about rent. You ain't got to worry about rent. You ain't got to worry about rent. All of these houses are like, all right, America's set up like that. American business is set up like that. You know that, right? You can use your LLC. You can use your life insurance policy to pay off your loans and your LLCs and all the other things. They all wash each other's hands and still keep the revenue going. So you don't never lose money. You're paying money to yourself to gain money from yourself. You never go broke. That's how America is set up. They just set up like that, the way your families used to be set up. One sister, if she's doing without, you got 5 other sisters who are not. Hey, look, hey, I'm finna take from here, finna take from there, take from there. Boom. Now she got what she needs to sustain her thing. All these women got businesses. All these women got businesses that you are the head of, right? So your brother come to you, hey man, my family, he a man with one wife. Hey man, my family hurting, blah, 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 da, 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 da. Hey man, don't sweat it, man. Take that. You ain't got to pay that back. Take that. Matter of fact, got a job for you. You want to come work? No sweat. And you can make $100,000 a year based off what you're doing now. We can create jobs. We can create economies if we got the family structure back how the Lord said it should be. And the man can do this with one wife or multiple wives. Doesn't even matter. But as long as you got that mindset of how your ancestors used to live, you'd be good to go. You'd be golden. You see what I'm saying? I know it sounds like we just teaching that. Oh, y'all just teaching that. Y'all ain't living that. Yeah, we are. Yes, we are. We living it in here. And that's why the Isupk is like the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
It is the kingdom of heaven. How we living in here is the kingdom of heaven. Biblically, may not be what you thought the kingdom of heaven was, but it will be when we take this damn power. And it all starts with the black family, Hispanic and Native Indian family. Understanding where you come from and who you are is the number one thing that white people don't want you to ever do. So I got plenty of the scriptures that can show you sex is marriage, but if that suffice, well, for sister, does that suffice for you, or you want to see more scriptures? Okay, I could look in that woman's eyes and tell that's your woman for life. I could tell that off the rip. You see what I'm saying? So you ain't got to worry about it. But on the other hand, having a marriage document in America could pose benefits. It could pose benefits. So I wouldn't be against it totally. You know what I'm saying? But if you're going to get a marriage document because your wife punked you, not you, anybody, I'm speaking to everybody. If you go get a marriage document because your wife punked you into doing the American thing, and she's hinting that she'll leave you if you don't get her a piece of paper and a medal with a stone in it, then brother, that's not the woman you need to marry. No way. It's not. But if you and your woman want to go get a document that seals y'all in, like let's say you got beautiful health insurance and your rib didn't, y'all get married, she on your health insurance. You know what I'm saying? Let's say your wife had an estate that's worth $1 million. She wanted to make sure that you inherited that. When that paperwork do good for you and everything that y'all build. Give you know what I'm saying? So there are reasons why, you know what I'm saying, the paperwork is good. I'm just not about to get punked by no broad into getting no paperwork. I would get some paperwork if I went down to El Paso and I seen a pretty young thing at the border trying to get through. And she said, I can't come into America unless I had a husband. I'll say, well, look, sis, here's your husband right here in your face. The Lord sent me to. You want to marry? I'll marry you on paper. I'll put my John Hancock right there. Pause. You know what I'm saying? And there we go. Now you my wife. I ain't gonna force you to be with me like that, but I will let you come into the States. Now you will be my wife on paper. See how that paper just works? Now, she may fall in love with me, be my wife how the Lord says she will, or she may not. But the sister got across the border. She probably got family over here. It's better than being detained in them goddamn cages where she just got to depreciate and lose her mind and watch everybody dying in these joints. I'll take that sister out that cage. Let's go. And a lot of brothers should think about that. A lot of brothers, before you take a trip to Puerto Rico to have fun, go to the border and see what's happening with these Hispanic tribes that's trying to run away from the shit that's going on down there below the border, and see how they got them in cages. See what you could do to do something better for them. Because you don't care about the marriage document anyway. How do I know? Because the majority, 92% of all blacks and Hispanics in America, hell, all America, 92% of all Americans who go get a marriage document get a divorce within a year or two. So if the document meant anything, if the document meant life to you, once you got that, for better or for worse, none of that is in the Bible. He just holding the Bible. For better or for worse, to death do us part. None of that is in the Bible. He made that up. You listen to some charlatan tell you that you should be married through some paper, and the same document that you and your wife can get, a man and another man can get. Two women can get. Hell, a man and a dog can have in America. I ain't making this up. A woman can marry a dog. Go ahead.
There was a lady in Portland, Oregon that married a tree.
A tree. Come on now. Can't make this up. So if I'm going to use it, I use it in a way that'll help my people. Whether I get to marry this woman physically or not, spiritually according to the Lord or not. But if I could marry this woman and she could cross that border, I'll do it. Just playing feds. Don't. Just feds, I'm just playing. But that would be a noble thing to do. You know what I'm saying? They can't stop you anyway. Who to say I don't go to the border and fall in love? So, sex is marriage. Any woman that says sex is marriage, sex ain't marriage, is probably because she done already had 17 rods inside her body and don't even honor sex anymore. You understand? But that woman who says, wait, I done gave you this thing. Sold. You're done. I'm with you for life. Then that woman appreciates her body. She appreciates her dignity. She appreciates that bond. She didn't give it to you cheap anyway. A woman that do that, she made you work for it, buddy. You know what I'm saying? And a woman like that should be appreciated. And if you're ever a woman out there who don't have a husband and you want a husband, the best men are in the Israelite School UPK. Come to class, Isupk Milwaukee. I'll show you how to become a better woman than you are. And then I got brothers in here who need wives. Come on through. Shalom. With that being said, pass the class over. Preaching officer of 1,000 a month.
Isupk security announcements. We are the Isupk, started out of 1 West on the 25th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They're here to shed themselves to the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to her brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find it in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10.
Yeah, and guess what? All the other ones, all the other laws are enforced in here too.
That's right.
Not just tithe. But I gotta let you know, because y'all sending all y'all money, y'all paying all y'all money in just stupid stuff. When the black people was to put their money into one thing,
right,
that'd be another way to defend our kids from dying. Go ahead.
Means sent unto evil, by sure. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like.
By the way, everybody in the UPK pays their tithe, even Commander General Yohana. So nobody above the law in here. Go ahead.
And if I may, as far as priest funds go, Cash App, $, Isupk Milwaukee. Accept any and all donations.
That's separate from the tithe. I can't spend your tithe.
Fund, yeah.
I can't spend your tithe. But if you put a priest fund in here, you better send it to that number, because if you send it to me, yeah, I'm gonna have a new garment. It's locked. Go ahead.
Upcoming holy convocations. Friday, September 15th at sundown starts the memorial of the Feast of the Blowing of the Trumpets until Saturday, the 16th, September 16th at sundown. That's when the feast would end. So get in contact with school near you. See what they may need help with. If you need any accommodations yourself, travel or otherwise, get in contact with school near you. Any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. That means your boots, your shirt, your pant, headband, and or scarf. With that, men of Israel, I remind you. Men of Israel, and mighty Shabbat, Mighty, Barak,
Yahweh Shemiah Shabbat
Guys, Matah, which means hands down. Men of Israel, saw to the sisters. Sisters, Imagine, which means stand. And you present yourself right hand. All right, sister, showing. All right. Men of Israel, courtesy salute for the sisters. Men of Israel, mighty Shabbat, Mighty, Barak,
Yahweh Shamar Alathan Barashim Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shamar Elathan Bashim Yahweh.
Lead the sister through it so she can.
So we salute back. Yahweh, Shamar, Ayel, Athan, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Yeah, you said good. And it's going to come with repetition. Yeah. And with that, Yazmatah, hands down. That's dismissed.